can you get that so wrong? I mean, how can you defend a president, any human being, whether he was running a laundrette, let alone the most powerful country in the world, when they make such a fundamental mistake?
Yeah.
Even if you think this stuff to yourself, surely there's a filter that comes down and says, these words will not be pronounced.
Right. Now, he did not say the UK or Great Britain, but that was, again...
but all the others, too. There are other... The Danes, for instance.
The Danes had the high...
This is the moment the defense stops sounding confident and starts sounding desperate, because this isn't about one bad sentence or one careless comment anymore. This is about whether power comes with restraint, or whether excuses are all that's left when judgment fails.
Given what Trump has said in the last week, are you embarrassed to be an American?
No, definitely not. But it was clearly a mistake on Thursday. Okay, and it's a shame because it just...
Which one are you referring to? There's so many mistakes.
Yeah, well, I don't know that I would agree with that, but there was, the little trivial things like, Iceland, Greenland, we all make those mistakes. But
what about the extortion and the threat of violence over occupying the land of a fellow NATO member?
Yeah, well, we all knew...
Is that nothing
we
as
all
well?
knew that was just rhetoric, and that's...
Did we know that, though?
Oh, absolutely.
After Venezuela, we can't really be sure.
No, apples and oranges on that one. So, no, the mistake was not being clear that he was referring to certain NATO partners rather than the UK, and that was a big mistake. And I'm not apologizing. I mean, I'm not suggesting that wasn't a
You're talking about the Afghanistan?
Yes, I mean that was
the 457 who died. Defending NATO's interests in Afghanistan, including America's.
No, and by the way, he didn't say...
How can you get that so wrong? I mean, how can you defend a president, any human being, whether he was running a laundrette, let alone the most powerful country in the world, when they make such a fundamental mistake?
Yeah.
Even if you think this stuff to yourself, surely there's a filter that comes down and says, these words will not be pronounced.
Right. Now, he did not say the UK or Great Britain, but that was, again...
but all the others, too. There are other... The Danes, for instance.
The Danes had the highest casualty rate, per capita than, and basically the same as the U.S. And so it was atrocious not to be more clear and not to bring some clarity to the comment.
Greg, as you seem like a decent chap. You
seem?
You do seem. Okay. Right. But how can you defend someone like Trump, who, if your children used language like that, or your friends used language like that, you would dump them or you would tell them off?
Right.
This is a question of character, of decency.
He's a decent man, but he does make mistakes, and he also has a different style. And so, but the condescension that we've had for 10 years on Trump is one of the reasons he was elected in 24. 73 million people voted for him.
So whatever condescension you might have perceived from our side is nothing compared to the belittling, scathing, seething arrogant. Do you think he even knows how to spell that word? What it means? Methodology is giving him too much credit, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. And I think, look, he's got a different way of accomplishing things. I'm going to have to stop you there.
Yeah. I'm interrupting you too much, and I apologize for that. But I'm so glad you're here. But what has he actually accomplished? Right? Okay, we've increased our defense spending. I think Vladimir Putin.
By now, the pattern is impossible to ignore. Every answer shrinks under pressure. Every justification leans on tone instead of substance. And the more this defense is explained, the clearer it becomes the problem isn't misunderstanding, it's accountability.
It had quite a lot to do with that as well. On NATO, which is, whether you like it or not, was a pretty successful defensive alliance for 75 years, he's in danger of destroying it. On relations, on trade relations, he picked a trade fight with China that he lost. He lost it. Let's be honest about that. It is American consumers who are paying the price at the till for the smaller trade fights he picked with his European allies.
All right. I'm not taking notes here, Matt, but let's go try to do one at a time. Okay, so the speculation from the I'll say the mainstream media in the U.S. that there would be inflation because of tariffs was wrong. Not only hasn't there been inflation...
...company and you want to invest in America, are you really going to set up, going to make that long-term investment? Are you going to trust America across the board? Because this guy changes his mind on a dime.
Yeah.
Who trusts your country today? How would you sell brand America other than through fear?
Well, $17 trillion of foreign direct investment is coming into the country. And even when critics of President Trump, like Bloomberg, start to, argue that it's not really 17 trillion, it's only 8 trillion. Well, there was $1 trillion during the Biden years, so I'll take $8 trillion. So those are the outcomes that we're seeing, and so ultimately,
so is it all about money then? So people are still making
more. Okay, so if we're talking war and peace, I would argue there's been a lot more peace thanks to President Trump, and so how he gets there might be different. He threatens, he uses economic coercion.
Where has there been more peace? Just give me one example.
I can start with.
I know he's got 8 wars that he's ended, but give us one.
I can say
Gaza ceasefire.
Ceasefire.
Can I just on that one, just briefly, because I know
Armenia and Azerbaijan.
Was that really Trump? I don't think that was really Trump, was it? And also on the Gaza ceasefire, can I just tell you, because I know a little bit about Gaza. The Gaza ceasefire, Trump negotiated the Gaza ceasefire before he came into office, and the ceasefire was there when he was inaugurated. And then he allowed the Israelis to break it a few months later because not all the hostages were released in one go, which was always part of the deal, that release would be phased.
Trump was in the White House, and surely...
Oh, we don't really know that, do we?
Because look what happened to the...
and now he's handing Ukraine to Vladimir Putin.
Just in the last year, you've seen much more peace thanks to President Trump.
I don't buy that. But what's he going to do with Ukraine?
I have no idea. He's been trying for a year.
Is he going to throw Ukraine under the bus?
The loose cannon here is Putin in that whole thing. Okay, we all. I mean,
Putin has been very consistent. Very consistent. I don't accept a ceasefire. I will carry on fighting. I want all the land.
So what do we do? Do we invade? Do we send troops there? Do we have boots on the ground from European allies? I've not seen that offered yet. So Trump is trying to end this. He's not been successful. Okay, so 1 out of 8, he's not been. Okay, speed bump Thursday with some indelicate comments. But
you're making it sound like it's a sort of a burp at a dinner party. I mean, this is consistent stuff over and over again. Trump is basically, insulting his allies and friends.
He has been
with everything he says. Did you listen to the speech in Davos? It was appalling.
But he's right. I listened to the speech. I personally thought it was great.
What? What bit of it was great? Greg?
Well, let's talk about the criticisms, okay? Because that's what you like to lean on. I didn't see too many congratulations on that speech. Okay, so he was critical. He's been critical for 10 years of NATO for not spending enough on defense and security. Now we have commitments of 5%. I'm not sure that the Europeans
take the victory lap, and what you don't do is then rub salt into the wound and kick your allies in the place where it hurts most. I mean, this is just not the thing you do. It's not decent, Greg.
There's, as I said, he's got a different way of doing things, and the outcomes are what's important to him. And that if the outcome is 5% of GDP spent on military and defense and security, that's a great outcome.
How about we spend 5% on GDP, but NATO is going to be reshaped as a European alliance, and we say goodbye to America.
I would say I don't know that that's the outcome.
That's where this is heading, right? It will take a long time. It'll be painful.
That's the drama. That's what you're hearing from some people, and I don't think
that will happen. Okay, that's not good. Final question to you, Greg.
Destroy the alliance, and America will be there. The special relationship will endure.
I don't think anyone's buying that at the moment.
At the moment.
Right, and it's a big moment. Okay, final question to you is, if the king, or rather the Prime Minister, decides not to send the king to your celebrations, 250 years since you became a republic, although now it looks as if you want to become a monarchy again, which is a bit confusing. But if the king doesn't go, how damaging would that be?
It would be unfortunate, yeah. It would be unfortunate. I don't think it's... It's not the end of the world.
Tony Soprano.
First of all, I think he'll go. I'm pretty...
At this point, the debate is effectively over, not because one side shouted louder, but because one side ran out of ground to stand on. What you're watching here isn't a clash of opinions. It's the slow exposure of a defense that can't survive its own logic. Because when the argument becomes that's just his style, what's really being admitted is that standards no longer matter. When the excuse becomes it works, you're conceding that damage is acceptable as long as the numbers look good. And that's the line the host refuses to let slip by. This interview isn't dismantling a policy platform, it's dismantling a mindset. The idea that leadership can insult allies, threaten stability, and shrug it all off as strategy. The idea that outcomes excuse recklessness. The idea that loyalty should override judgment. And that's why this exchange hits so hard. Not because the guest lacks facts, but because every defense sounds weaker the longer it's spoken out loud. The host understands something crucial here. Strength without discipline doesn't project confidence, it projects risk. By the end of this conversation, one truth is unavoidable. This wasn't left versus right. This wasn't Britain versus America. This was accountability versus blind defense. And in this moment, accountability wins. So what do you think? Was this defense honest or completely indefensible? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you want more moments where weak arguments collapse under real pressure, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. More unfiltered debate analysis coming next.